Today is my wedding with Adrian. The makeup artist had just finished touching up my makeup when Adrian pushed the door open and entered. Sophia, you go to the main hall first, I have something to handle. I nodded, lifted my wedding dress, and went downstairs. As I reached the entrance to the main hall, I heard a man's low laughter coming from inside. Celine, you look so beautiful today. It was Adrian's voice. I peered through the door crack and saw Adrian holding my bridesmaid Celine, the two of them embracing tightly. Celine shyly leaned into his arms. Brother Adrian, today is your big wedding day, you shouldn't do this. Adrian gently stroked her cheek. I am marrying Sophia only because she holds the equity agreement I need. Does she really think I love her? A junior partner at a law firm, does she deserve to marry me, the young master of JS? Celine bit her lip. What about me? You are my precious darling. Once I get the agreement from her, I'll make her leave with nothing. As Adrian spoke, he lowered his head and kissed Celine. I felt a chill all over my body. 3 years of relationship, in his eyes, was merely a transaction. I quietly retreated to my room, took out my phone and activated the recording function, then casually pushed open the door to the main hall. Adrian, you're here, the guests have arrived. Adrian and Celine quickly separated. Adrian adjusted his tie and walked toward me with a smile. Sorry, darling, I was just discussing the process with Celine. He naturally linked his arm with mine, as if nothing had happened earlier. Celine also approached, wearing a perfect smile on her face. Sister Sophia, you look truly beautiful today. I looked at her exquisite makeup and sneered inwardly. This is my best friend, the bridesmaid I personally selected. Thank you, you look beautiful too. My tone was calm. The wedding ceremony officially began. I linked arms with my father and walked toward the altar. Adrian stood on the stage waiting for me, his eyes filled with affection. If not for the words I had heard earlier, I might have truly been moved by his acting. The officiant began presiding over the ceremony. Groom, do you take Sophia as your wife, to love, honor, and protect her in poverty or wealth, in sickness or health, until the end of life? Adrian looked at me affectionately. I do. When it was my turn, I looked into his eyes and said word by word, I do. I do, willing to make you pay the price. During the ring exchange, Adrian held my hand and whispered in my ear, Sophia, thank you for marrying me. I smiled in response. I should be the one thanking you. Thank you for letting me see your true face. After the ceremony, it was time for the banquet. I excused myself to change my dress, returned to the room, took out my phone, and searched for a number. Rachel, help me check the relationship between Celine and Adrian. Rachel is my assistant and the person I trust most. Okay, Attorney Sophia, I'll check right away. In less than 10 minutes, Rachel called back. Attorney Sophia, Celine and Adrian have known each other for 5 years, even earlier than you and Adrian. She is now the legal director of JS Group, with an annual salary of $5 million, and owns 3 properties, one of which was bought for her by Adrian. I gripped the phone tightly, and what else? She has an account in Switzerland, receiving money from Adrian every month, totaling $12 million over 3 years. So that's how it is. I thought I was Adrian's girlfriend, but in reality, Celine was. And I was just a cover to deceive others. I took a deep breath, changed back into my dress, and went downstairs. In the banquet hall, glasses clinked, and guests were enjoying dinner. When Adrian saw me coming down, he immediately approached. Why did it take so long? Just changing a dress. I linked my arm with his. Let's go toast. We shuttled between the guests, and Adrian said the same thank you words at every table. Meanwhile, I silently observed everyone present. Adrian's father, Chairman Charles, sat at the main table. He is the chairman of JS Group, holding 60% of the company's equity. According to the prenuptial agreement I signed with Adrian, if Adrian cheats, I will receive 20% of his equity as compensation. When we signed this agreement initially, Adrian laughed at me for being suspicious. Now it seems my decision was right. After the toasts, Celine approached me. Sister Sophia, I want to talk to you alone. I glanced at her, sure. She led me to the hotel's rooftop. The night wind was cool, she took off her coat and draped it over my shoulders. Sister Sophia, actually, I've always wanted to tell you something. I waited for her to continue. Brother Adrian and I, actually. She paused, seemingly organizing her words. Actually what? I asked calmly. Actually, we've been together for a long time. After saying this, a trace of triumph flashed in her eyes. I nodded, I know. Celine was stunned, you know? I heard everything in the main hall. Her face changed instantly, then why did you still marry him? I turned to look at her, because I want to see how long you can keep acting. Celine bit her lip, Sister Sophia, since you know, you should fulfill us. The one brother Adrian loves is me, he married you only for the equity agreement. I laughed, equity agreement? I took out a document from my bag, do you mean this? When Celine saw the document, her face turned pale instantly. It was the prenuptial agreement signed by Adrian and me, clearly stating, if Adrian engages in infidelity during the marriage, Sophia has the right to receive 20% of his equity as compensation. Adrian signed this agreement quite readily. I put away the document. Perhaps he thought his acting was so good that I would never discover it. Celine stepped back, what do you want to do? Nothing, just wanted to inform you. Looking at her terrified expression, I felt much better. Tomorrow, I will initiate the divorce proceedings, and then 20% of Adrian's equity will be mine. And you, a mere legal director, how long do you think you can stay at JS Group? Back in the banquet hall, Adrian was chatting with a few business friends. Seeing me, he immediately approached, why did it take so long? Where is Celine? She said she felt unwell and went back to her room first. Adrian frowned, I'll go check on her. No need. I grabbed his arm, today is our wedding, you should accompany me. Adrian hesitated for a moment but ultimately stayed. But I could tell his mind had already flown to Celine. The banquet continued until 10 o'clock, and guests gradually left. Chairman Charles approached us and patted Adrian on the shoulder. Adrian, Sophia is a good girl, you must cherish her well. Adrian nodded vigorously, I will, Dad. Chairman Charles then turned to me, Sophia, from now on, you are the daughter-in-law of our JS, if there's anything, you can come to me. Thank you, Dad. I replied obediently. Chairman Charles left satisfied. After seeing off the last group of guests, Adrian sat tiredly on a chair. I'm exhausted, these occasions are really torturous. Looking at his relaxed appearance, indeed tiring, acting all day. Adrian was stunned, what do you mean? Nothing, just think you acted well today. I said indifferently. A trace of alertness flashed in Adrian's eyes, but he quickly returned to normal. Sophia, why are you acting strange today? Where am I strange? I countered. Speaking in a sarcastic tone, not like your usual self. I laughed, probably too tired. Adrian breathed a sigh of relief, then let's go back to the room to rest. Our bridal suite was the presidential suite on the top floor of the hotel. In the elevator, Adrian tried to hold my hand, but I casually avoided it. Sophia? My hands are a bit cold. I casually made an excuse. Upon reaching the room, Adrian went to take a shower. I took the opportunity to take out my phone and sent a message to Rachel, tomorrow at 9 a.m., prepare the divorce complaint. Soon received a reply, received, Attorney Sophia. Adrian came out after showering, wrapped only in a bath towel. Sophia, today is our wedding night. He walked toward me, his eyes filled with desire. I looked at him coldly, Adrian, what do you think Celine is doing now? Adrian froze instantly, what do you mean? I mean, your beloved is alone in her room now, won't she feel lonely? Adrian's face changed, Sophia, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't know? I stood up and played the recording on my phone. Adrian's voice came from the phone, I am marrying Sophia only because she has the equity agreement I need. Does she really think I love her? A junior partner at a law firm, Does she deserve to marry me, the young master of JS? After the recording finished, the room fell into dead silence. Adrian's face was pale. Sophia, where did this recording come from? What do you think? I put away the phone. Adrian opened his mouth, wanting to explain something, but ultimately said nothing. Sophia, What? Want to say it was just a joke? I interrupted him. Or want to say you truly love me, it was just a moment of confusion? Adrian was silent. He knew any explanation was futile. Sophia, can we talk properly? Talk about what? About your 5-year romance with Celine? Or about buying her a house and transferring money to her every month? Adrian looked at me in shock. You found out everything? I'm a lawyer, checking these isn't difficult. I walked to the window, back to him. Adrian, let's divorce. No. Adrian panicked. Sophia, I don't agree to divorce. I turned to look at him. You don't agree? Yes, I don't agree. He nodded vigorously. I know I've wronged you, but we've just married, we can't divorce so quickly. It won't look good for both of us if it gets out. I sneered. Bad for you, or bad for you and Celine? If I'm not wrong, you're refusing divorce now because you haven't gotten what you want from me yet, right? Adrian was silent. I hit the nail on the head. He married me for the equity transfer agreement in my hands. That was the inheritance my father left me, and my only bargaining chip in this marriage. Adrian, do you think I'm easy to fool? I walked to the safe, entered the password, and took out a file bag. The equity transfer agreement you want is here. Adrian's eyes lit up instantly. But. I changed my tone. I won't give it to you. Why? Adrian panicked. Because according to our prenuptial agreement, if you cheat, I have the right to receive 20% of your equity as compensation. And this equity transfer agreement will be strong evidence for my lawsuit against you. Adrian's face turned pale instantly. Sophia, you can't do this. Why not? I countered. Because. Adrian couldn't speak. Because you didn't expect me to find out? Or because you didn't expect me to fight back? Adrian sat on the bed, holding his head in his hands. Sophia, can we start over? I'll break up with Celine, and we'll live well together. Looking at him like this, I only found it ridiculous. Adrian, do you think it's possible? Why not? We've just married, there's still a chance. Chance? I shook my head. From the moment you chose to deceive me, there was no chance. I picked up my bag and walked toward the door. Where are you going? Adrian chased after me. Back to my own home. This is your home. I stopped. No, this will never be my home. Sophia, you can't leave, today is our wedding night. I looked at him. Wedding night? Are you sure it shouldn't be spent with Celine? After saying that, I left without looking back. I returned to my own apartment. It was already 2 a.m. As soon as I entered, I collapsed on the sofa. Although I had mental preparation, when truly facing it, I still felt empty inside. 3 years of relationship ended just like that. The phone rang. It was Adrian calling. I hung up directly. He called again. I continued to hang up. Finally, I simply turned off the phone. The next morning, I went to the law firm. Rachel had prepared all the materials. Attorney Sophia, the complaint is written, just waiting for your signature. I took the document and read it through. Very good, submit it to the court today. Also, help me check the recent project status of JS Group. Okay. Rachel noted it down. Also, arrange for me to meet Chairman Charles. Rachel was stunned. You want to meet Chairman Charles? Yes, just say I have important matters to discuss with him. Rachel nodded. I'll arrange it right away. In the afternoon, Chairman Charles's secretary called, saying Chairman Charles has time at 3 o'clock. I arrived at JS Group on time. Chairman Charles's office is on the top floor, decorated luxuriously. Sophia, what brings you to me? Chairman Charles asked kindly. I took out the divorce complaint. Charles, I want to talk to you about Adrian. When Chairman Charles saw the complaint, his face changed instantly. What does this mean? Adrian cheated, I want to divorce him. Chairman Charles looked at me in shock. Cheated? Impossible, Adrian isn't that kind of person. I took out my phone and played the audio recorded yesterday. After listening, Chairman Charles's face became extremely ugly. This bastard. He slammed the table hard. How could I have such a son? I sat quietly, waiting for him to calm down. After a while, Chairman Charles looked at me. Sophia, I apologize to you for this. It's our JS that has wronged you. Charles, you don't need to apologize, it's not your fault. Chairman Charles sighed. Adrian has been spoiled since childhood. I always thought he would mature after marriage. I didn't expect him to do such a thing. Looking at Chairman Charles's pained expression, I felt some pity. But things had come to this point, there was no turning back. Charles, according to the prenuptial agreement I signed with Adrian, I have the right to receive 20% of his equity. Chairman Charles nodded. Of course, it's the compensation you deserve. But I have a request. I paused. Speak. I hope you can help me with something. Chairman Charles looked at me, waiting for me to continue. The object of Adrian's infidelity is Celine. She is the legal director of JS Group. I hope you can transfer her from her current position. Chairman Charles agreed without thinking. No problem, I'll have the HR department handle it immediately. Thank you. I stood up. Sophia. Chairman Charles called me. What is it? Although Adrian has wronged you, you will always be our JS's daughter. If there's anything you need help with in the future, come to me anytime. My heart warmed. Thank you, Charles. Leaving JS Group, I went directly to the court. After submitting the complaint, I felt much lighter in my heart. Back at the law firm, Rachel told me Adrian had come. What did he say? He wanted to see you. I refused. He also said, if you're willing to withdraw the lawsuit, he's willing to give you 10 million as compensation. I sneered. 10 million? What does he take me for? I've already refused and told him that if he harasses you again, we'll call the police. Well done. I nodded satisfied. In the evening, back home, a familiar car was parked at the door. Adrian got out of the car, his eyes red, looking like he hadn't slept all night. Sophia, let's talk. Nothing to talk about. I prepared to open the door and enter. Adrian blocked me. Sophia, I know I was wrong, give me a chance, okay? Chance? I looked at him. Have you given me a chance? When you hugged Celine in the main hall, did you give me a chance? When you said I didn't deserve you, did you give me a chance? Adrian was speechless. Sophia, I admit I'm a bastard, but I really love you. Love me? I laughed. Adrian, do you know what love is? Love is loyalty, respect, sincerity. And what you gave me was only deception and betrayal. Tears welled up in Adrian's eyes. Sophia, our 3 years of relationship, is it not worth forgiving? 3 years of relationship? I countered. In these 3 years, how much time were you sincere to me? Or, in these 3 years, were you just waiting for the right time to get the equity agreement from me? Adrian was speechless. Move aside. I pushed him away, opened the door, and entered. Adrian followed behind. Sophia, please, don't divorce, okay? I turned to look at him. Adrian, now it's your turn to beg me? Yes, I beg you. Adrian knelt down. As long as you don't divorce, I'll do anything you want. I looked down at him, without a ripple in my heart. Adrian, do you know what I feel now? He looked at me expectantly. Disgusted. Adrian knelt on the ground, tears streaming down nonstop. Sophia, I really know I was wrong. Whatever compensation you want, I can give it to you. Looking at him like this, I only felt pitiful. Adrian, do you think everything can be solved with money? Then I ask you, how much is Celine's innocence worth? How much is the house you gave her worth? How much is your 5-year relationship worth? Adrian was left speechless by my questions. Get up, don't act here. I said coldly. I'm not acting, I'm sincere. Sincere? I scoffed, your sincerity was given to Celine, what you gave me was just acting. Adrian stood up, Sophia, I admit I was wrong before, but now I want to change. I've already broken up with Celine, I just want to live well with you. Broken up? I looked at him, when did that happen? Just this afternoon, I told her personally. I nodded, oh, that's good. Hope ignited in Adrian's eyes, so are you willing to forgive me? Forgive you? I shook my head, Adrian, have you misunderstood something? Did I make you break up with Celine? Adrian was stunned. I never required you to break up with her. I said indifferently. On the contrary, I hope you two are together. Why? Adrian didn't understand. Because you two are a match made in heaven. One is a liar, one is a mistress, really a perfect match. Adrian's face looked ugly, Sophia, don't say that about Celine. What, feeling heartbroken? I sneered, since you feel heartbroken, why break up with her? Because I want to salvage you. Salvage me? I looked at him, Adrian, do you think I'm trash? What do you mean? Throw away when you don't want, pick up when you want. Adrian panicked, I didn't not want you, I've always loved you. Love me? I took out my phone, then I'll call Celine and tell her your confession. Don't. Adrian hurriedly stopped me. I looked at him, why not? Afraid she'll be heartbroken? Adrian couldn't speak. Adrian, even now you can't bear to part with Celine, yet you have the face to say you love me? I put away the phone, leave, I'm tired. Sophia, I'm not leaving, I want to clarify things with you. What's there to clarify? I looked at him, you cheated, I divorce, it's that simple. But we have 3 years of relationship. 3 years? I sneered, Adrian, when did you and Celine start? Adrian hemmed and hawed, unwilling to say. Unwilling to say? Then I'll tell you. I looked at him, 5 years ago, 2 years before we met. That is to say, our 3-year relationship was built on the foundation of your 5-year relationship with her. From beginning to end, I was the third party. Adrian's face was pale, it's not like that. Not like that? I interrupted him, then tell me, what is it like? Adrian opened his mouth to explain but ultimately said nothing. Because that's the fact, any explanation is futile. Adrian, we're over. I looked at him, completely over. No, I don't accept it. Adrian shook his head, I won't sign the divorce. Not signing? I laughed, do you think that can stop me? I'm a lawyer, even if you don't sign, I have ways to divorce. It's just a matter of time. Adrian's face looked even worse. Moreover, I continued, the longer you drag, the more disadvantageous it is for you. Why? Because according to the prenuptial agreement, your equity compensation increases with time. Now it's 20%, if dragged to half a year later, it's 30%. Adrian looked at me in shock, is there such a clause in the agreement? Of course, didn't you read carefully when signing? Adrian remembered, at the time, he was eager to marry me and didn't read the agreement content carefully. So, you'd better cooperate obediently. I said indifferently, otherwise, the loss will only be yours. Adrian was silent for a long time and finally nodded. I will cooperate. Very good. I nodded satisfied, then you can leave. Adrian walked to the door and suddenly turned back. Sophia, I really regret it. If time could go back, I would never hurt you. I looked at him, unfortunately, there is no if. Goodbye, Adrian. After saying that, I closed the door. Through the door panel, I could hear Adrian standing outside for a long time. Finally, the footsteps gradually faded away. I leaned against the door and let out a long breath. Finally over. The phone rang, it was Rachel calling. Attorney Sophia, JS Group's HR department just issued a notice, Celine has been transferred to a branch office. It seems Chairman Charles keeps his word. I smiled. Additionally, I found some interesting information. What information? Celine's Swiss account has had large funds outflow recently. She seems to be buying properties and stocks. I frowned. Where did she get so much money? Probably given by Adrian, totaling over 20 million. I sneered. It seems Adrian is really generous to her. Attorney Sophia, do you need me to continue investigating? Continue, the more detailed, the better. Okay. After hanging up, I fell into thought. Celine suddenly transferring so many assets must have a reason. It seems she's smarter than I imagined. The next morning, I was handling other cases in the office when Rachel rushed in. Attorney Sophia, something happened. What? I put down the file in my hand. Celine had a car accident last night, she's in the hospital being rescued now. I was stunned. Car accident? Yes, heard it's serious. Adrian stayed at the hospital all night. I frowned. Does this have anything to do with us? It doesn't seem so for now, but... Rachel hesitated. But what? Adrian's friend posted in Moments, saying Adrian is willing to give up everything for Celine. I sneered. Give up everything? Including not divorcing me? Very possible. Rachel said worriedly, if Celine is really in life danger, Adrian might use this as an excuse to delay the divorce. I thought for a moment. Go to the hospital to see. You're going to the hospital? Rachel was somewhat surprised. Yes, I want to see with my own eyes how this play is performed. When we arrived at the hospital, Adrian was sitting outside the operating room. He looked exhausted, with swollen red eyes, seeming truly in pain. Seeing me, he stood up in surprise. Sophia, why are you here? To see your performance. I said indifferently. Adrian's face changed. What performance? Celine is really injured. I know she's injured. I looked at the operating room door. What I want to know is why she had the car accident. What do you mean? A person driving fine, suddenly has a car accident, don't you find it strange? Adrian was silent. At that moment, the operating room door opened, and the doctor came out. Where is the patient's family? Adrian hurriedly went over. I am, doctor, how is she? The surgery was successful, but the patient lost too much blood and needs rest for a while. Thank you, doctor, thank you. Adrian breathed a sigh of relief. After the doctor left, Adrian looked at me. Sophia, Celine is fine. Congratulations. I said indifferently, then when do we continue the divorce procedures? Adrian's face stiffened. Sophia, with Celine like this now, I can't leave her. So you want to delay the divorce? It's not delaying, it's... Adrian couldn't find the right word. What is it? I pressed. It's my responsibility to take care of her. Responsibility? I sneered. Adrian, didn't you already break up with Celine? Broke up, but... But what? Still love her? Still can't bear to part? Adrian was left speechless by me. At that moment, the ward door opened, and the nurse pushed Celine out. Celine's face was pale, her head wrapped in bandages, looking very weak. Seeing me, a trace of panic flashed in her eyes. Sister Sophia, why are you here? To see you. I walked to the bedside. Heard you had a car accident? Yes, on the way home driving last night. Celine said weakly. That's really unfortunate. I looked at her. But you're lucky, no life danger. Celine nodded. Yes, the doctor said a bit later would be dangerous. Was it Adrian who found you? I continued asking. Celine and Adrian exchanged a glance. Yes, it was him who found me. Oh. I nodded thoughtfully. That's quite a coincidence. What coincidence? Adrian asked alertly. Nothing, just think the timing is clever. I looked at them. Just the day after I proposed divorce, Celine had a car accident. And it was Adrian who discovered in time, saving her life. It's just like a plot from a TV drama. Celine's face became even paler. Sister Sophia, are you suspecting something? What can I suspect? I smiled. I'm just a woman about to divorce, no right to suspect anything. After saying that, I looked at Adrian. Adrian, I don't care what tricks you're playing. The divorce agreement will be delivered to you tomorrow, you'd better sign obediently. Otherwise, bear the consequences. Adrian wanted to explain something, but I had already turned and left. Leaving the hospital, Rachel followed behind me. Attorney Sophia, do you think there's a problem with this car accident? Of course there's a problem. I sneered, the timing is too coincidental. Then what do we do? Continue investigating, I want to know what exactly happened last night. Back at the law firm, I had Rachel contact a few private investigators. Soon, the investigation results came out. Attorney Sophia, I found some interesting information. Rachel said excitedly. Tell me. Celine did have a car accident last night, but the location is strange. Where is it strange? The accident site is on a very remote road, where few people pass. Moreover, surveillance shows Adrian arrived near the site half an hour before the accident. I narrowed my eyes, that is to say, he knew in advance Celine would have an accident? Very possible. Rachel nodded, and surveillance also shows Celine's car had an emergency brake before the accident. It looks deliberate. I understood. This wasn't an accidental car crash at all, but a carefully planned act by them. The purpose was to gain my sympathy and delay the divorce. Really underestimated their shamelessness. I sneered. Attorney Sophia, should we expose them? No rush. I shook my head, let them continue acting, I want to see what other tricks they can perform. But we can't idle either. What do you mean? Since they like acting, we'll give them a bigger stage. That afternoon, I had Rachel contact several media outlets. Attorney Sophia, what do you want to do? Rachel was somewhat worried. Since Adrian and Celine like acting, I'll fulfill them. Let the whole city come watch this good show. The next morning, major media received an anonymous email. The email detailed the entire process of Adrian's marital infidelity, attached with audio evidence. It also included evidence of Celine transferring assets and surveillance video of her car accident. Soon, this news hit the hot searches. JS Group CEO cheats on wedding night. Wealthy bride betrayed on wedding day, suspected self-injury scheme to avoid divorce. Netizens' comments overwhelmingly supported me. Such a scumbag should leave with nothing. Cheating on wedding night, absolutely no bottom line. That mistress isn't any good either, deliberate accident to pretend pitiful. Support the female lead to bravely divorce. After seeing the news, Adrian called me in rage. Sophia, are you crazy? Why tell the media these things? I didn't tell the media anything. I said calmly. Then how did this news come about? Perhaps some kind-hearted person couldn't stand it. Kind-hearted person? Adrian roared, besides you, who else knows these details? Adrian, calm down. I said leisurely, now the whole city knows your glorious deeds. Do you think anger is useful? Adrian was silent on the phone for a long time. Sophia, do you want to ruin me? Ruin you? I laughed. Adrian, you ruined yourself. I just let everyone see your true face. Doing this benefits no one. It benefits me. I said indifferently, at least I can prove I'm not a clingy, resentful woman. I'm a woman with dignity. Adrian was silent again. Sophia, what will it take for you to stop? Simple, sign the divorce. I can sign, but you have to clarify those rumors about Celine. Clarify? I sneered. Clarify what? Clarify she didn't cheat? Or clarify her accident was real? Celine is innocent, it's all my fault. Innocent? My voice turned cold. Adrian, do you think a woman who maintained a 5-year relationship with a married man is innocent? Adrian wanted to defend Celine but couldn't speak. If you really love her, you should let her lead this place of right and wrong. I said, instead of dragging her down with you. After hanging up, Rachel entered the office. Attorney Sophia, JS Group stock price fell 5 points. The board demands an emergency meeting. I nodded, this was within my expectations. What reaction from Chairman Charles? Chairman Charles demands Adrian handle this immediately. Otherwise, consider changing the air. I smiled, it seems Chairman Charles is a sensible person. In the afternoon, Adrian came to the law firm on his own initiative. He looked very haggard, his eyes bloodshot. Sophia, let's talk. Talk about what? I looked at the file without lifting my head. About the divorce. Oh? You've thought it through? Adrian sat down, I can sign, but I have conditions. What conditions? First, you have to clarify the rumors about Celine. Second, reduce the equity compensation to 10%. I lifted my head to look at him. Adrian, do you think you still have the qualification to bargain now? I know I don't, but I must consider for Celine. Consider for her? I sneered, have you considered for me? When you hugged her in the main hall, did you consider my feelings? When you said I didn't deserve you, did you consider my dignity? Adrian lowered his head, I know I've wronged you. Good that you know. I stood up, Adrian, my conditions are simple. Execute according to the agreement, no room for bargaining. If you don't agree, then continue dragging. Anyway, the one losing is you, not me. Adrian lifted his head, Sophia, do you really want to exterminate? Exterminate? I walked in front of him, Adrian, what is exterminate? If I really wanted to exterminate, the one sitting here negotiating with you wouldn't be me. But the prosecutor. Adrian's face changed, what do you mean? Celine's asset transfer involves fraud and money laundering. If I hand these evidences to the police, what do you think the consequences will be? Adrian looked at me in shock, you've investigated Celine's assets? I'm a lawyer, this is my specialty. I said indifferently. Moreover, I discovered some more interesting things. What things? Celine's Swiss account, the fund sources are not just from you. There are money from several other men. Adrian's face turned pale instantly, impossible. Nothing is impossible. I took out a document, this is the bank's transfer records. In 3 years, at least 5 different men transferred to her. Total amount over 30 million. Adrian picked up the document, his hands trembling. After reading, he collapsed entirely in the chair. She deceived me. Not just you. I sneered, she deceived many people. You're just one of the more special ones, because you married a wife. Adrian covered his face with his hands, saying painfully, I'm really an idiot. Now you know? I looked at him, Adrian, Celine never loved you. To her, you're just an ATM. Adrian was silent for a long time and finally lifted his head. Sophia, sorry. If sorry is useful, what need for law? I said indifferently. I will sign. Adrian said, execute according to the agreement. Very good. I nodded satisfied, Rachel, prepare the divorce agreement. A week later, Adrian and I formally handled the divorce procedures. Adrian transferred 20% of his equity to me as agreed, without any additional conditions. After completing the procedures, we met for the last time at the Civil Affairs Bureau door. Sophia, I owe you an apology. Adrian looked much more haggard. No need for apology. I said indifferently, from now on, strangers, no debts. I know nothing can salvage, but I want you to know, I really regret. What's the use of regret? I looked at him, Adrian, your regret is only because of loss, not because you truly realized the mistake. If Celine didn't deceive you, would you still regret? Adrian opened his mouth to refute but ultimately said nothing. Because what I said is right. Take care. I turned and left. Sophia. Adrian called from behind. What else? I asked without turning back. If one day, I can truly reform, do we still have a chance? I stopped, turned back and glanced at him. Adrian, there are many good women in the world, but I won't be one of them. At least not for you. After saying that, I left without looking back. Back at the law firm, Rachel had prepared celebratory champagne. Attorney Sophia, congratulations on regaining freedom. Thank you. I took the champagne, but there's still one thing not handled. What? Celine's matter. During this time, Celine had been recuperating in the hospital, rarely appearing publicly. But online discussions about her never stopped. Some sympathized with her, thinking she was also a victim. Others condemned her, thinking she was the mistress destroying others' families. But more people were waiting for the truth. Attorney Sophia, how do you plan to handle Celine's matter? Rachel asked. Give her a choice. I said indifferently. Either actively admit the mistake and return all ill-gotten gains. Or wait for legal sanctions. That afternoon, I had Rachel send a lawyer's letter to Celine. The letter detailed her suspected illegal acts and corresponding legal consequences. At the same time, gave her 7 days to consider. 3 days later, Celine contacted me initiatively. Sophia, let's meet and talk. We met at a coffee shop. Celine looked much better than in the hospital. The bandage on her head was removed, leaving only a shallow scar. Sophia, what do you want? She asked directly. My conditions are clearly written in the lawyer's letter. I said calmly. Return all ill-gotten gains, totaling 38 million. Celine's face changed. 38 million? Where do I get so much money? Don't you have? I sneered. Isn't there still 20 million in the Swiss account? The remaining 18 million can be paid in installments. Celine bit her lip. Sophia, why are you doing this to me? We were once friends. Friends? I looked at her. Celine, would friends steal friends' men? Would friends say those words at a friend's wedding? Celine lowered her head. I admit I was wrong, but I've paid the price. Paid the price? I scoffed. What price? A small scar? No, I lost Adrian. Lost Adrian? I looked at her. Celine, you never owned him. To you, Adrian was just one of many ATMs. Celine's face turned pale instantly. You found out? Of course. I took out a document. 5 men, 30 million funds. Celine, your business is really busy. Celine looked at the document. Her whole body went limp. Sophia, what will it take for you to let me go? I said, return all ill-gotten gains. If I don't agree? Then see you in court. I stood up, but I remind you, with your current charges, at least 3 years sentence. Celine panicked. Wait, I agree. Smart choice. I nodded satisfied. But I need time to raise money. Give you 1 month. I looked at her. 1 month later, I want to see the first payment arrive. Okay. Celine nodded weakly. Leaving the coffee shop, I was in a good mood. Justice may be late, but it won't be absent. 1 month later, Celine transferred the first payment as agreed, 5 million. Although not much, it represents she started fulfilling the agreement. The remaining money, she will pay off entirely within 2 years. At the same time, she resigned from JS Group on her own and left the city. Said to have gone abroad, starting a new life. As for Adrian, after our divorce, his days were not good. JS Group's stock price kept falling, the board's trust in him also declined. Chairman Charles even started considering letting Adrian's younger brother succeed. And I, using the equity obtained from Adrian, established my own investment company. Specializing in investing in female entrepreneurs ignored by traditional enterprises. Half a year later, my company had invested in over a dozen projects, several of which achieved good returns. A reporter asked why I specialize in investing in female enterprises. I said, because women know how to cherish opportunities more than men. They know success is hard-won, so they double the effort. The reporter asked again, what is your view on your ex-husband Adrian's current situation? I said indifferently, I have no ex-husband, only a former mistake. And once a mistake is corrected, no need to turn back. In the spring a year later, I received an invitation from Chairman Charles. JS Group is holding a 50th anniversary celebration, inviting me as an important shareholder to attend. I originally didn't want to go, but Rachel advised me to go see. Attorney Sophia, you are now the third largest shareholder of JS Group, you should exercise your rights. Moreover, heard Chairman Charles will announce some important decisions at the celebration. I thought and decided to go see. The celebration was held at the most luxurious hotel in the city center, with many business elites attending. I wore a black professional suit and attended alone. Entering the venue, I immediately attracted many people's attention. After all, my matter with Adrian was no longer a secret in this circle. Everyone was curious how I would face Adrian. Adrian saw me, obviously stunned, then walked toward me. Sophia, you came. I'm a shareholder, of course I come. I said indifferently. Adrian looked much more haggard than a year ago, his hair somewhat gray. Are you okay? He asked tentatively. Very good, better than ever. I answered sincerely. Indeed, after leaving him, my life became fulfilling and meaningful. That's good. Adrian nodded. I heard you established an investment company, very successful. Not bad. I didn't want to talk more with him. At that time, Chairman Charles went on stage and started speaking. Dear friends, thank you for attending JS Group's 50th anniversary celebration. Today, I want to announce an important decision. The audience immediately quieted, everyone waiting to hear what he would say. Starting next month, I will step down as chairman and focus on enjoying retirement. The new chairman will be elected by the board vote. Discussions arose below the stage. This was indeed major news. Adrian's face was somewhat tense. After all, by common sense, he should be the most hopeful heir. But after this year's turmoil, his prestige had greatly diminished. Chairman Charles continued, I hope the new chairman can lead JS Group to a more glorious future. At the same time, I hope all shareholders can carefully consider and select the most suitable candidate. After he finished, many people looked at me. As the third largest shareholder, my voting right is very important. After the celebration, Chairman Charles talked to me alone. Sophia, I want to hear your opinion about the new chairman candidate. I thought and said, Charles, I think ability is more important than blood relations. Chairman Charles nodded, I think so too. Although Adrian is my son, his mistakes are too serious. I can't disregard company interests for personal feelings. I understand his difficulty. As a father, he must be in pain too. Then who do you think is more suitable? I asked. I leaned toward letting a professional manager manage the company. He said, for example, the current general manager Michael. Michael is indeed a good choice. I agreed with his view. Then can I expect your support? Of course. I nodded, I will support the most suitable candidate. A week later, the board held a vote. The result was as expected, Michael was elected new chairman with absolute advantage. Adrian only got a few votes, mostly favor votes. After voting, Adrian walked to me. Sophia, thank you for not maliciously targeting me. What benefit do I get from targeting you? I countered. Letting JS Group develop better is most important for me as a shareholder. Adrian smiled bitterly, you are more like a qualified businessman than me. This is what you taught me. I said indifferently, you made me understand that emotions and business must be separated. Adrian was silent for a long time and finally said, Sophia, I owe you a sincere apology. Not because of losing something, but because I truly realized my mistake. I looked at him, this might be the most sincere words he said after our divorce. I accept the apology. I said, but this doesn't mean forgiveness. Some hurts, once caused, can never be repaired. Adrian nodded, I understand. That's good. I turned to leave. Sophia. Adrian called me again. What? I heard you're recently dating attorney Ethan from the Lawyers Association? I was stunned, didn't expect him to ask this. Attorney Ethan is my peer and also the legal advisor for my investment company. We do have some private contacts, but not yet at the stage of discussing marriage. Does this have anything to do with you? I countered. No. Adrian shook his head. I just hope you can find someone who truly loves you. You don't need to worry about me. I looked at him. I'm fine. 2 years later, I married attorney Ethan. It was a small wedding, inviting only family and friends from both sides. Unlike the previous luxurious wedding, this one was simple but filled with sincerity and warmth. Attorney Ethan is a very attentive person. He knows my past but never minds. He said, "Past experiences shape the current you. I love the current you." On the wedding day, I received a bouquet, the card reading, "Wish you happiness." Adrian I looked at the card, then put the flowers aside. Rachel asked if I want to reply. I shook my head. Some people appear in your life to teach you a lesson. Lesson over, time to say goodbye. The wedding went smoothly. Attorney Ethan made sincere vows in front of everyone. I also sincerely said I do. This time, I believe we can grow old together. Post-marriage life is calm, we each busy with our careers but always make time to accompany each other. My investment company grew bigger, becoming a well-known female venture fund in the industry. Attorney Ethan's law firm is also developing steadily. We often support each other at work. A year later, I got pregnant. When I told attorney Ethan this news, he was so happy he almost jumped. Really? We're having a child? Yes. I said smiling, you're going to be a dad. Attorney Ethan carefully hugged me. Sophia, thank you. This is our child, why thank me? Thank you for willing to build a family with me, thank you for giving me a complete life. I leaned in his arms, heart full of happiness. This is true love, mutual support, mutual achievement. During pregnancy, attorney Ethan took good care of me. He even turned down many jobs to accompany me wholeheartedly. Career can be done slowly, but wife is only one. He always said that. Formed a stark contrast with Adrian. After the child was born, it was a healthy girl. We named her Emily, hoping she becomes a thoughtful, expressive girl. Looking at the little life in my arms, I felt my life was finally complete. Those past pains and hurts became nutrients for growth, making me cherish current happiness more. Attorney Ethan is also a good father. Although busy with work, he always tries to accompany the child more. Sometimes watching them father and daughter play, my heart is full of emotion. This is the life I want, ordinary but real, simple but happy. When Emily was 3, we moved to a villa in the suburbs. The environment there is good, suitable for child growth. When moving, I sorted some old items to donate, including wedding photos with Adrian and some mementos from that year. Attorney Ethan saw me packing these and came over to hug me. Still sad? He asked softly. No. I shook my head, just feel that experience is distant, like another person's story. That person taught me a lot, but now I'm not her. Attorney Ethan nodded. Now you're my wife, Emily's mom. Yes. I said smiling, I'm Sophia, also Mrs. Wong. More importantly, I am myself. That night, our family of 3 sat in the new home's living room. Emily playing with blocks, attorney Ethan reading, me handling company emails. Such a scene is ordinary, but it's the life I want. Suddenly remembered when at the law firm, Rachel once asked me a question. Attorney Sophia, what do you think is true success? At the time, I answered career success, financial freedom. But now I think true success is finding people worth protecting. Having a partner to truly love. Owning a healthy, happy child. Inner peace and satisfaction. On an autumn day 5 years later, I received an unexpected call during a company meeting. It was from Chairman Charles. Sophia, I have something to discuss with you. His voice sounded tired. What, Charles? I was somewhat worried. Adrian had an accident. My heart skipped a beat. what happened? He was diagnosed with depression, now in hospital for treatment. The doctor said his condition is serious, needs family accompaniment and support. I was silent for a while. Then what do you hope I do? I know this request is excessive, but... Chairman Charles hesitated. But what? Adrian has been saying he wants to see you, to apologize in person. The doctor said this might help his treatment. I understand Chairman Charles's difficulty. As a father, he surely hopes his son can recover. But as the party involved, I don't know if seeing Adrian is wise. Charles, let me think. Okay, decide after thinking clearly. After hanging up, I fell into contemplation. So many years passed, I thought I had completely let go of the past. But hearing Adrian's news, my heart still had some ripples. Not because I still love him, but because of the time we once spent together. Those beautiful memories won't completely disappear because of later hurts. In the evening back home, I told this to Attorney Ethan. Do you want to see him? Attorney Ethan asked. I don't know. I said honestly, reason tells me not to go, but emotionally I feel I should go see. After all, once loved each other. Attorney Ethan nodded, I understand your thoughts. If you decide to go, I support you. You won't mind? I was somewhat surprised. Why mind? Attorney Ethan smiled, I trust you, and trust our relationship. Moreover, if seeing him can let you completely let go of the past, that's also good. I hugged him touched, thank you for understanding me so. We're husband and wife, understanding is basic. The next day, I decided to go to the hospital to see Adrian. The hospital is in the suburbs, environment quiet. Adrian stayed in a single ward. When I knocked and entered, he was sitting by the window in a daze. Seeing me, he was obviously stunned, then showed a bitter smile. Sophia, you really came. Charles said you want to see me. I sat on the chair. Adrian was much thinner than 5 years ago, hair almost all white, looking 10 years older than actual age. You look good. He sized me up, married life happy? Yes, very happy. I didn't hide. That's good. Adrian nodded, I heard you have a daughter? Yes, already 5 years old. Congratulations. He said sincerely, you must be a good mother. We were silent for a while. I asked, how do you feel now? Much better than before. Adrian said, at least I started facing my mistakes. These years, I've been living in guilt and regret. I know I have no right to ask your forgiveness, but I want you to know, I really regret. I looked at his haggard appearance, heart somewhat complex. Adrian, let past things pass. We both have new lives, no need to live in the past forever. I know, but I can't. Adrian shook his head, I know I lost the most important person in this life. Most important person? I looked at him, are you sure I'm your most important person? If I was really important, you wouldn't betray me on the wedding night. Adrian lowered his head, I was too stupid then, blinded by vanity and desire. After losing you, I understood what true love is. Unfortunately too late. I sighed, Adrian, don't live in the past. You're still young, have chance to start over. Start over? Adrian smiled bitterly, Sophia, some mistakes are irreparable. Some people once lost, won't be had again forever. I stood up, I should go. Sophia. Adrian called me, thank you for coming to see me. This makes me feel much better. I looked at him, Adrian, I hope you can truly let go of the past, treat well, restart life. This is good for all of us. Adrian nodded, I'll try. One more thing. I paused, if you really want to atone, do some meaningful things. For example, help those who need help, instead of immersing in your own pain. You're right. Adrian nodded thoughtfully, I'll consider. On the way leaving the hospital, my mood was complex. Seeing Adrian now, I had no schadenfreude of pleasure. Just feel life is impermanent, everyone must be responsible for their choices. Back home, Attorney Ethan and Emily were waiting. Mom, where did you go? Emily ran over to hug my leg. Mom went to see a friend. I touched her head. What kind of friend? It's a friend Mom knew before, now sick. Mom went to see him. Is he better now? Emily asked innocently. He will get better. I picked her up. Baby, Mom tell you a story, okay? Okay. Emily clapped happily. That night, I told Emily a story about forgiveness and growth. Although she's young, can't fully understand, but I hope she learns tolerance and forgiveness from young. At the same time, learn to protect herself, not easily hurt by others. A month later, I heard Adrian was discharged. He didn't return to business, but established a charity fund, specifically helping children from difficult families receive education. Heard he invested all his remaining property into this fund. I think this is a good start, at least he started atoning with actions. Another 2 years passed. I accidentally saw Adrian's report on news. His charity fund has helped thousands of children, and he himself gained social recognition. In the report, he looked in good spirits, with a long-lost smile on his face. I felt happy for him, not because I still love him, but because seeing a person truly reform. This made me believe human nature is essentially kind. As long as willing to change, it's never too late. That night, Attorney Ethan and I strolled in the garden. Do you still think of him? Attorney Ethan suddenly asked. Occasionally. I answered honestly, but not because still loving, but because grateful. Grateful for what? Grateful we separated, grateful I met you, grateful for my current life. Attorney Ethan held my hand. I'm also grateful. Grateful to meet you at the best age.